Hey vinyl community and YouTubers, this is Chris. I'm here to do a video. It feels like the 90s all over again. Here I am not buying vinyl, only CDs, and these are a bunch of artists that I was discovering in the 90s and buying their music, but like I said, all on CDs. So starting off, this sort of follows my last music update. This is Harmonia, live in March 23rd, 1974. So this was a concert in Gresham, Germany. Harmonia, made up of members of Noi and Cluster. So I had shown a vinyl Cluster album. I think it was 2 other concerts. And I had shown a Harmonia deluxe vinyl album. So nice to add that in. And then this Cluster album. Cluster and Farnbauer, live in Vienna, 1980. So this is a 2 CD set. It's the 8th full-length album by Cluster, according to the little hype sticker. So, again, those were things that I was buying around that time in the 90s. Didn't realize there were vinyl versions of them. This one is Chrome, California artist, I guess. Put that on the Dossier label. They were reissuing all the Chrome albums in these twofers. I guess they were short enough that they could easily fit them both onto a CD. So this is Chrome, Red Exposure, and Damon Edge, who is one of the 2 primary members of Chrome. His album, The Wind is Talking. There's the back cover, so sort of industrial sort of music. Not what I would call industrial, but it's sort of got that edge, industrial punk. Something a little different. Mother Mallard, Portable Masterpiece Company. Tracks from 1970 to 1973. So this is an all synthesizer group that I have. I think I've got all their other albums, but this was some stuff prior to their first vinyl release. Starts off great. Ceres Motion, which is a Klaus Schultz, Philip Glass type marriage. And then Cloudscape for Peggy's another good one. Those are just the first 2 tracks. So David Borden went on to do several albums on his own, continuing story of Counterpoint, more synthesizer, modern, classical type compositions. Picked up this Kevin Ayers album that I didn't have, one of his later ones, the Unfairground. First new album in 15 years, it says. Kevin Ayers, at one time Soft Machine, the Whole Earth group. Peter Blegvad with John Greaves and Chris Cutler. So more modern music from ex-Henry Cowell. I think he was in Faust at one point. This is from doesn't say. I'll put some more details in the notes, but so modern pop music. Here's an odd one. Dark Matter, Seeing Strange Lights. It has this lenticular type CD cover. I haven't seen that before. But this is the other half of Chrome, Helios Creed. So this is sort of spacey, ambient, new wave music, I guess. This is on the Hypnotic label. And this one doesn't quite fit into the 90s motif that I've been talking about. C.O.B, C.O.B, Clive's original band, Incredible String Band member Clive Bunker. But Spirit of Love, but I picked up this reissue of that album. I don't think I knew about them in the 90s. That was a slightly later discovery. And then 3 albums that again I didn't know about in the 90s, but these were, this is a 1994 release. Jandek, Glad to Get Away, on the Corewood Industries label. So this is sort of outsider folk, outsider strange music produced by mostly just by Jandek. So I got that one, Glad to Get Away. Shadow of Leaves from 2004. Just 3 tracks, 1 long one and 2 shorter ones. And On the Way, that cover is deliberately dark so you can't really see anything. 1988. And Rapoon. This was spin-off from Soviet France. Robin Story is the musician here. So similar to Soviet France style music, ambient electronic soundscapes, maybe a little bit of tribal drum thrown in there. Rapoon. Darker by Night, 1996. Darker by Light, sorry. 1996. Third Ear Band. Magic Music. This is a later release from them. 1997. So, sort of folky prog music. Robert Wyatt, Cuckooland on Ryko or Hannibal. I think this was released on Hannibal. So 2003, so another Soft Machine tie-in, Robert Wyatt. Muslimgauze, a twofer, or a 2 LP set, Arab Quarter, or Arab Quarter, and 11 Minarets is the title of the second disc. Brian Jones, Brian James, I forget his name. This was put out on Sole Moon label. So sort of glitchy electronic up-tempo on this music. Sometimes it's ambient. Some Roedelius, so more cluster-related stuff. Roedelius Weg. So ambient-ish. This is a 2000 release. Ahead of the Wind by Roedelius on Captain Trip label, 1999. So some more ambient type stuff. And La Nordica by Roedelius. Just 3 tracks here. Klaus Schulze. Interface. I was buying a lot of his albums back then. Glad to didn't have these two. CD, Bryn reissue. Interface. And 2 disc set Are You Sequenced? 1996, Klaus Schulze. And then in that German sort of vein, Paul Schutz. This is New Maps of Hell on the Extreme label, 1992. So, electronic, ambient type music. Another one by Paul Schutz. Green Evil, this is a compilation of his works. It says Volume 6. On Tone Casualties label, put out in 1998. Some more electronic ambient stuff. And then we get back into the more Canterbury jazzy type releases. Another Soft Machine tie-in. Hopperdine, Tippett, and Gavilan. This is called Mercy Dash. 1996 release of a 1985 album. So Hugh Hopper, Elton Dean, Keith Tippett, and Joe Gavilan. Galavan. Put out by Culture Press. Another ties into all this stuff here. La 1919 with Chris Cutler, Charles Hayward from This Heat, and Roberto Zorzi. So this is called To Play is the title of this. So sort of fusion jazz. 1995 on Material Sonori label. I think this, oh, there, that makes it easier. This one is Dunlavy. I Ruined America and the Spinning Dog. This is put out on the September Girls label, 1995. Back in the 90s, there was some Australian label, Camera Obscura, that I bought a bunch of CDs from, and Dunlavy was one of the artists on that they were putting out. So I saw that this other album they had, I think this compiles their first 2 albums or EPs. And then lastly, this is Daniel Dennis from Universe Zero and Present. So in that RIO, Rock in Opposition movement. This is put out by Cuneiform. So chamber, prog rock type stuff. Daniel Dennis was the drummer in that band. And this was put out in 1993 by Cuneiform. So there it is, 1990s all over again. I'll try to put some links and more information in the notes. So thanks everybody. See you later.